Hey everybody, Anthony from the Rock Studio here. We're going to do a real short video today unboxing the Behringer Poly D. I'm going to open up this outer carton, start taking out the inner packages. Now this synthesizer was given to me as a gift from my wife for our anniversary. She ordered it about 6 months ago. I'll take the Poly D out of the bag now. Ah, smells like a new instrument. You've got an external signal input, a sync in and out. Then you've got your main outs, input for external V trigger, and your external control inputs over here for loudness, filter, oscillator, mod, source. The knobs have a really nice feel to them. They're very thick feeling. The rotary switches have a nice strong detent to them. The rocker switches feel pretty nice. The keys on here are a little stronger feeling than a typical keyboard in my opinion. They have a little more bounce to them. The pitch and mod wheels feel good. This feels really good here. The pitch wheel feels nice. The Poly D comes with a 12 volt DC 1 amp power supply, and mine's shipped with the North American style plug. Hey everybody, today we've got the Milwaukee 2604-22, the cordless 18 volt hammer drill / driver kit. It's the M18 fuel. This one comes with 2 3 amp hour batteries. We're gonna unbox this drill and we're gonna check it out. I bought this kit from Home Depot. The drill itself has a 5-year warranty. The batteries have a 3-year warranty. You can look at all the specs at MilwaukeeTool.com. This is the brushless model, and it's got the lithium-ion batteries, and the specs are great. This is a top-rated tool, so I'm really excited to open this one up, and I've been dying to take it out of the box, so I figured I'd roll this video and show the unboxing and an overview. Alright, this drill can handle a maximum of a 1/2 inch shank diameter, and it's got the red link plus intelligence and the power state brushless motor. 650 inch-pounds of torque, so I'm dying to use this drill. Let's open it up. This has got a really nice hard plastic case. Comes with it. It's got a big fat handle and 2 metal latches that secure the case lid. It's lockable. 2 plastic hinges on the bottom. Open it up. It's a pretty tight fit. Got the charger, spare battery pack, the primary battery pack, the drill, and the torque handle. Inside the case lid is a instruction manual. This one is the operator manual for the drill itself. This manual here is for the charger and the battery packs. Here's the drill. It's pretty heavy. Get a nice strong arm when you're done working with this one. Let's see what else is in the box. Here goes the battery charger. This will do your 18 volt battery packs, but it'll also do your M12 battery packs there. It'll charge only 1 pack at a time. So either your 12 volt one or your 18 volt. And it's got a set of LED indicators to show you the charging status. It takes an hour to charge a 3 amp pack, ½ hour to charge the M12 12 volt pack. The spare battery pack is sealed up. It's got a fuel gauge on them, so you can see how much charge you have left. Here's the torque handle. This clamps onto the top of the motor housing of the drill. You can see that little dovetail clamp mechanism. Alright, let's check out the drill. Here's the Milwaukee M18 2604-22 hammer drill driver. Feels really nice. Very solid feel to it. There's a little wiggle where the battery joins the bottom of the drill. That's really it. And actually, this chuck is actually steel. It's got a really gnarly grip to it. It goes clamping down. It's got a nice feel, releasing, smooth. Let's take a look at the red lithium fuel gauge. Hit the button. Just tell me how much of a charge I have left. So out of the box, this has 2 bars. These lithium batteries don't give you any warning when they're getting low. They just shut off. Not like your old NiCads, which will just slowly kind of fade out. This one is all or nothing. Here in the base of the drill you can see the receiver port for a belt clip on the right and left side. Here we are looking at the top of the drill. You can see it's got 3 different modes on the clutch. It's got the hammer drill mode, it's got a driver mode, and a drill mode. Here's the gear selector switch. Right now it's in first gear. And you've got second, which is like, you know, your fast gear. You've got your slow, real ballsy gear there. So the clutch here goes from a rating of 2 all the way to 24. It's got like some thick grease on there right now. It'll wipe it off. That's nice. Now we're looking at the front of the drill. Right above the trigger is a nice LED light that'll light up your work surface. I haven't even pulled the trigger yet. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's a nice, real bright white LED. Stays on for a couple seconds after you press it, or quite a few seconds. The bottom of the battery pack has a nice rubber boot on it. Keep it from slipping and sliding. One thing I really like about this drill right off the bat is the way it's balanced. Especially with this heavy battery pack on the bottom, the drill isn't likely to tip forward. If you set it down on its base, you've got a long bit or a heavy bit sticking out the end. It's not going to tip forward and break your drill bit off. It always happens when you've got you know, a lightweight drill, something you're using around the house, and you set that thing down and bam, your drill bit goes flying across the room in half. Let's take a look at the mechanics of the battery pack itself. Here goes the 3 amp hour 18 volt lithium polymer battery from Milwaukee, the M18 red lithium. Fuel gauge on the front. It's a pretty hard button to press. Here is the electrical contact connectors. On the side of the battery, on the front, 2 buttons that correspond to the red locking tabs that hold this battery into the bottom of your drill. Hopefully those don't pop out. If you drop it, here's the base of the drill. You've got your electrical contacts that stick out, and your receiver for the mechanical red locking tabs. That feels nice. That's in low gear. Let's put it in high gear. There it is, the Milwaukee M18 2604 cordless hammer drill driver. I can't wait to try this out in the field. I've got an audio-visual installation business and I'm running drills all the time. And oftentimes I've got to be in and out of a job. I don't have time to wait around for batteries to charge. So with 2 of these batteries on hand, it's really going to make a big difference. Here's the battery charger for the M18 fuel packs and also the M12 fuel packs right there. This one is set up for 120 volts AC input. The output is 12 to 18 volts at 3 amps. The tip here is an ungrounded yet polarized Edison connector. It's plugged in now, and there are no lights on. So let's slide a battery pack on and see what happens. Let's try it. Alright, the pack is in. We've got some indicator lights on now. This side of the 18 volt side has got 1 red LED on, and the battery pack itself, fuel gauge, is showing up at 2 bars and counting. The battery has now finished charging. There's a little bit of heat coming off this charger, but it's nothing major. Put the battery out here. Let's take a look at the fuel gauge. Bam! We got 4 bars and we are ready to rock and roll. One thing I want to add about this charger, when you put a dead battery or an exhausted battery pack on here and you put it on, the only indication that you have it's charging is the red LED and the fuel gauge beginning to rise. When it's done charging, there's no alert, there's no sound. You're really going to have to come back and check this to make sure that it's done charging. I wish there was some kind of a beep or a little note or something. When I was selecting this drill, some of my friends and colleagues warned me. They're like, you know, this new one might be really big. You might want to try to find a smaller drill. This one might not fit into your tight spots and stuff. I just want to point out the difference now between this new M18 Milwaukee and my 18-volt Ryobi that I've been using for the last 7 or 8 years. You can see that the Milwaukee is quite a bit shorter. So I'd say it's a good maybe 2.5 inches shorter overall. And the Milwaukee's got the full-size battery pack. This Ryobi only has like the compact lithium pack on there right now. But my dilemma was, I'm down to 1 battery pack for the Ryobi. What I wanted to do, instead of getting into buying new battery packs for an 8-year-old drill, I chose to go ahead and start fresh with the Milwaukee system, with the M18 red lithium power source. So instead of revamping my current Ryobi equipment, I'd go ahead and start fresh with something new and save this Ryobi as just a backup drill, or something that I could hand to one of my helpers that they could use if they don't have their own. So there it is, Milwaukee M18 2604-22 kit. Thanks everybody for watching. Today we've got the Shure PSM 200 wireless personal monitor system with mix control. We're going to unbox this unit, we're going to check it out, do a brief overview. I hope you all enjoy this video. This is a kind of like a retail display box. It's got a handle built in. This one's been kind of ripped a little bit. Check it out. On the back of the box, you've got some artwork here showing a rock and roll guy wearing his wireless personal monitor system on his guitar strap. So this set includes a set of isolating earbuds. Comes with the P2R hybrid body pack and the P2T wireless transmixer. Ooh, wireless transmixer. So let's crack it open and take a look at the unit. Alright, on the side of the box here, it gives us our unit number, serial number, and the frequency range. This one is set up for 518 to 554 megahertz. And here it specifies all the information with the headphones that are in the box. So let's check this out. I ordered this for a band in my town from fullcompass.com. So before I turn it over to the band, I'm just going to do this quick unboxing video. They're probably going to be mad that I opened up their brand new stuff. But I hope you guys on YouTube enjoy this video. Okay, here is an instruction manual, user guide, and here it's pretty hefty. Let's see, it's got some warranty information, it's got something in Japanese, and here is a little registration card. Okay. This is what it looks like on the inside. There is a plastic shield that has a bag. It's got the body pack receiver. It's got a 9-volt. It's got a cable, and it's got a case for the earbuds. I imagine the earbuds are inside that case. So let's pop this out. Alright, further inside the box, the next tray in here is the wireless transmixer, power supply, and then a little bag of rack screws, rack rail screws, some Velcro in there. In this box also are rack rails to rack up the transmixer. There's both sides of the rack rail in there. So I'll take this tray out. Alright. So here we've got the wireless transmixer. This is Shure's entry-level wireless in-ear monitor system. Here's the transmitter. On the front are 2 combi jacks for mic line 1, mic line 2. They're Neutrik jacks. Here's the volume knobs for the inputs, 1 and 2. This is really lightweight. It's got a flexible antenna. It's got a little screen here to tell you your channel number, and a select button to change channels and do whatever you need to do, parameter adjustments. On top of the transmitter is just like a block diagram of the circuit. And along the back here we've got what's called split outs, 1 and 2. So I guess those are probably feed throughs. Here if you look at the circuit diagram you can see that the inputs are tied right to those outputs, 1 and 2. So basically you feed your signal to 1 and 2, you can adjust the levels independently. However, then they both get summed, and then they get sent out the antenna, the signal gets sent out. It's a totally mono unit. These inputs are just 1 and 2. You can feed it 2 sources, mix them, but they're both going to get summed. There's no left and right. Also on the back panel here we've got your DC input, and that's 12 to 18 volt, 170 milliamp. So there it is. This thing racks right up. Here's the power supply. It's the PS21 US. So here we go. It's a line lump, and we've got our American Edison connector here. No ground, just hot and neutral. PS21 US, and it's set up for 12 volt output at 400 milliamp. Okay, in that top tray of the box we've got this, it's an unbalanced 1/4 inch cable. It looks really long, it looks like 10 or 12 feet. I don't know if you guys would use a unbalanced cable for this purpose, but if you need it, there it is. That's what I call a last resort cable. You might throw that in the bottom of your work box, and if you need it in an emergency, you've got one there. Here's the earbud package. Let's check it out. We'll open it up. There's a neat little Shure pouch. And here is some information. I'm sure there's frequency plots and everything in there, like cleaning tips, storage tips, whatever. Let's open up this little zippered pouch. Okay, here comes an assortment of replacement earbuds, all different size foam earbud tips, and also a small tool for changing the earbuds and filters, whatever is inside. Here's the earbuds. They rotate around. Next in the pack is the wireless body pack receiver. This is your standard, it's about the standard size. It's got your wire belt hook on there. On this side is a gain knob, and you can switch from low to high gain. if you're using a mix input. Oh, on this side of the unit is, again, just like on the front panel of the transmixer, you've got a little LED readout of your channel number and a button to select channels and set whatever parameters are available. Here's your wireless whip antenna. There's a RF light, so if you're getting transmission from your base unit, that'll click on. Here's a light for your limiter. It's got a built-in limiter, and if you're hitting it too hard, this will clip on, show different colors. And here is your output volume knob for your in-ear monitors. It's also the power switch. All the way off, all the way on. This is a plastic, kind of shiny plastic body pack. There's your headphone output on that side. This takes the 9-volt battery. Battery door is on the bottom. It's a floppy fold-out one. Shure included this battery in the package, and we'll crank this up and check it out in depth. Also in here is a bag from Shure. Okay, here's the setup. Got the wireless transmixer, got the body pack receiver, the earbuds. One thing I want to point out on these earbuds, the cable does disconnect from the transducer, and all you got to do is pop it like that. You can replace your cable when it breaks. You can replace these transducers if they wear out, or if somebody snatches this off of you while you're jamming, hopefully they'll come loose. Alright, so I'm going to feed it some signal, and we're going to check it out, and we're also going to check out the range and see how far away we can go and still get a good signal. Alright, I've got this powered up and plugged in. It's hard to read because there's a protective film over the front. It says it's on channel 7, so I'm going to match up the wireless body pack. A probably means auto. I'm going to set it to channel 7. There it goes, channel 7. Now I've got an RF link light on. Got the power light on, an RF link. So, oh yeah, it's coming out really loud. There, I've turned it on. Got the RF link. If I turn it up all the way, you can see the limiter light is flashing. That's going to protect your little baby little ears from the loud sound coming out of these earbuds. So I'm going to give it a range check, let you know how far away I get. I just finished the range check for the Shure PSM 200 personal wireless monitor system. I walked 50 yards, which brought me all the way from my gear room in the back of my property all the way to the front of my house. And then I walked in front of my house, so I was blocked by my house. And signal was fine. There was very few noticeable glitches, and I'm not sure if they were coming from my source audio. But if you're ever in a situation where you're on stage and there's a house between you and this thing, then you might have another issue. But I don't think range is going to be a problem with this unit. I know these have been around for a couple of years. The only time I got any interference out there is when I walked between my gear building and my neighbor's house. I got a couple things, but I'm just cranking up the input volume on the front of the unit now, and you can see it turns yellow and then turns red if you start peaking. So keep an eye on that. Briefly, I just want to talk about some feedback that I've heard from the band in town that uses the system. It's a 5-piece band, and right now they have 3 receivers, 3 sets of earbuds, and only 1 transmitter. And the 3 guys who are wearing the earbuds share the same mix, so they wanted to, you know, expand a little bit more, so I ordered for them another set, the PSM 200 set, which comes with everything here, and also I ordered for them another spare body pack receiver with earbuds. So now all 5 guys in the band are going to have in-ears. However, they'll be sharing only 2 mixes, and for them it's fine. It's affordable. It's exactly what, you know, the kind of thing that they're looking for. So from those guys, I've heard that this unit is perfect for them. They're really happy with it. They said it's super loud, very much an isolating earbud. This thing only has 1 driver. It's only a single transducer. However, they said it's great. It's loud. It isolates almost too well. They've been using a drum overhead mic to pick up some ambience on stage, also a little bit of crowd response. However, they say that the drivers are kind of mid-range heavy. With something this small and being only one driver, you know, that's not a big surprise to me. So I'll recommend that they throw a pair of graphic EQs in between their mixer and their transmitters, so they'll be able to dial in their ideal sound for the earphones. Very impressive, really affordable setup if you want to get into in-ear monitoring. If you don't want to shell out a ton of money, if you want to just get rolling, get in the system, check out the Shure PSM 200. It's good value, and so far it's been a pretty durable unit. My friends in the band say that with a single battery in here, 9 volt, will last up to 6 hours. Just a Duracell Pro-cell battery, so the battery life is exceptional. And that wraps up the unboxing and overview of the Shure PSM 200 wireless personal monitoring system. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Today we've got the Crest Audio Pro-lite 2.0. It is called a professional 2000 watt power amplifier. Take a look at the box here. Here you can see it comes from PV Electronics Corporation, and it's Pro-lite 2.0. I ordered this from Full Compass, so this was shipped to Full Compass in this box. 980 watts by 2 channels, all the different modes. Got automatic clip limiting, Class D, and combi inputs, speak-on outputs. This is a Class D amp, and similar to the PV IPR series. However, this one can be bridged. You can't go down to 2 ohms in bridge mode, but you can do 4 and 8, and they're the specs. You can look it up on the website. We're going to go ahead and crack this one open. Okay, Crest Audio. Let's see what's in here. Got an instruction manual here. Right there, instruction manual. We've got a American IEC power cable. This one looks like it's about 6 feet, and it's 14 gauge. But it feels really nice and hefty. Here it is in the package. The Crest Pro-lite 2.0. I think without power cord and everything, it weighs a little over 11 pounds, maybe around 12 pounds. Let's take a look at the back here. We've got our IEC power inlet. It says 650 watts. There's no fuse or circuit breaker on the back. We've got speak-on outputs and XLR and 1/4 inch TRS Neutrik combi jacks here. These jacks on the back are all Neutrik. They're not some knockoff brand. They're actual Neutrik jacks. We've got a cooling fan here. This box is it's finished in a flat black. It's like a textured black finish on here. This bottom panel can be unscrewed. Looks like the bottom panel can be unscrewed, and you can pop it off if you need to get in there and vacuum or blow it out with some compressed air after a while. So this is the bottom of the unit. There's a serial number and a model number on there. Alright, here's the Crest Pro-lite 2.0. Here's the business end. We've got detented and deeply recessed gain knobs. They're detented. They feel okay. Here we've got some indicator lights. I guess you got a power light down there. You got a DC light. That'd be a bad one to see on. Over temperature light. You got a signal present light. and automatic clip limiter light there. Here's the other side. Got the Crest logo there. Got some nice wire, honeycomb, expanded metal. Here's the power switch. And the power switch has a circuit breaker built onto it. You can actually feel when you turn it off, turn it on, you've got to go twice on that switch. So I imagine if this is on and you pop the breaker, it's going to go halfway or something like that, and you'll have to turn it all the way off and then reset it. So that's deeply recessed also. There's no way that you can put your knee into that thing and turn it off, put your foot into it, turn it off. It's way in there. Over on this side of the amplifier, of course, you got your IEC inlet. Here's the Neutrik speak-on outputs. Channel A, bridge, and channel B. These are both just normal NL4s wired up with only the positive and negative one side of the plug. However, on channel A, you can wire up all 4 pins on the speak-on, 1 and 2, positive and negative, and you can biamp one of your speaker cabs with that, or whatever, pass through to a sub or pass through to something else. But anyway, it's there. Both channels A and B come out on this first speak-on jack. Here are the input jacks on the back. These are those Neutrik combi jacks for TRS or XLR. Channel A and channel B. Here is your mode switch in the middle. Got parallel, you've got bridge, and you've got stereo. Also, each input has another 3-way switch. There's 3 settings: sub, full range, or high out. Same thing here. So we're going to plug this thing in and see what those switches do, because nothing's listed in the manual about those. And I can't find anything on the website, so we're going to check it out. We're going to plug it in and see what happens there. I just plugged in this amplifier, the Crest Pro-lite 2.0. We're going to turn it on. There it goes. The fan hasn't turned on. I can hear a little bit of a buzz. So let's see what happens when we feed it some signal, plug it into some speakers. Alright, so now I'm running signal in to input A, and I'm coming out of output A into a speaker cab. I don't have a PA speaker handy, so let's go into a guitar cabinet. So we're going to turn up the gain knob and see what happens. So you'll see that the 3-way switch over here, if I leave it on full range, that switch is on full range, the amplifier is going to output, just your straight signal. If I switch this over to sub, it's got a built-in crossover and outputs only the low frequency. It's a low pass signal, and I don't know what the crossover point is, probably about 125. If I switch this all the way to the other side, high out, and that actually outputs only the high frequencies, so it's a high pass signal. If I switch it over to high out, so this thing, if you're running a PA and you don't have a crossover, you've got something small, theoretically you could grab a pair of these amplifiers and do a stereo rig, subs and tops, or you could use one of these, have one side feeding the subs, the other side feeding the tops, and not even have to worry about a crossover. You just use the built-in crossover. I don't know what the points are, I don't know what the curves look like. I haven't been able to find too many bits of information about this. But anyway, I was surprised to see those on the back. And now I've heard that the PV IPR amplifiers also have built-in crossovers and everything, but I haven't used one of those. My friend has one and he told me that it's got a similar thing on the back. You can hear the fans on now, and it started just a minute or two after I turned the amplifier on for the first time. So I guess once it's warming up, it doesn't need to be on, and then it reaches a certain temperature, it comes on. One thing I wanted to add is that if you're using one of the inputs and you've got the parallel mode on, no matter what you've got selected on, say, this input, and you want to parallel out, you want to daisy chain another amplifier or a powered sub or whatever, that signal is always going to be identical to the one that you're sending the amplifier. So it's basically a straight pass through from here to here if you're in parallel mode. It doesn't matter what you're using this amplifier as. And I don't understand why they have labeled this sub full range or high out. It seems like they could have just said, you know, low pass, no filter, or whatever, full range, and high pass. That would have been a little bit more straightforward. Crest has been releasing really affordable amplifiers over the past couple years. They've got a couple different series that seem to work really well, and I've installed a couple of them at churches and restaurants throughout my town. And this one I'm really excited about. Love the Class D thing. Love the amount of power this has. This is a 2000 watt amplifier. If you want to get the upgraded model with DSP, you add about $200. So I'm hoping that this thing really rocks. Alright, so that's a quick unboxing and overview of the Crest Pro-lite 2.0. I'm going to put this into place and drive it hard. I'm going to have it all the way down to 2 ohms on one channel and about 2.6 ohms on the other channel, and doing a permanent install. So we'll see how it holds up over time, but for now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm real confident that this amp is going to fit the bill, and I know my client's going to be really happy. Thanks everybody for watching. Here we've got the Rolls RM64 4-zone mixer. I just got this in. I'm going to replace an old Toa mixer at a restaurant and give them a little bit more flexibility and functionality of their existing sound system. So we're going to unbox this device and check it out. Here goes some key elements of this unit. We've got clean, quiet operation, silicone damped potentiometers, glass epoxy PC board, pro grade connectors, and durable steel chassis. It's available from all kinds of guys. I got it from Full Compass. And let's take a look here. RM64. We're going to crack it open, see what's inside. Alright, here we go. It's a single rack space. It's really shallow. It's good for getting into tight little spots or places that don't have racks and you just need to set this on a shelf. For instance, the place where I'm working is really just behind a bar. I'm going to put it up there near their cable boxes and whatever else they've got stuck up there. Alright, check that out. 4-zone mixer. Nice. It's got kind of like a gunmetal gray faceplate. It's really narrow. Check on the back here. Got 2 mic inputs with gain trimmer pots on there. Got 4 RCA inputs, and then we've got 4 discrete outputs here. And not only outputs, but each output has its own jack for an external volume pot, which I think is a really great idea. Here we've got zone or duck assign and a fan and power switch that goes to both of those mic inputs. Here on the front we've got mic 1 volume, mic 2 volume, and then you have your source input volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can kind of turn up one or the other or all of them. Here are the channel select or zone select switches. So you can make the microphones, microphone 1 go to zone 1, 2, 3, or 4. Any of these can go to 1, 2, 3, or 4. There's 8 switches per bank, 2 sets of 4. So each input can be assigned to any of those 4 outputs on the back, or all of them. On this side you've got the main volume controls for the zones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are like your master volume controls here. Power LED, little power switch, And on the back, not only that, we don't have a fuse back here. There's no fuse, but there's just an IEC power input. This one is set up for 120, 50, or 60 hertz. So let's see what else we got here in the box. It is a American IEC power cord, 6 foot. And we've got the setup guide for the mixer. Alright, one thing I want to point out on the front of this mixer is this 3.5mm input jack, channel 4 input. So instead of plugging in RCA cable to the back, if you've got your iPod or iPad or whatever, you need to plug in there. You just use the stereo 1/8 inch cable, and it goes right to that. So let's see. So on the back here, you've got these remote volume jacks. And I went ahead and ordered, along with this thing, one of their volume pot wall plates. It's a little unit, just a couple bucks. It's called the WP37. And this thing is just, it's like a 10K or 100K. Let's see. Recommendation is 10K to 100K linear taper potentiometer. So I don't know the value of this one because I haven't looked it up, but let's check it out. Alright, here goes this wall plate. It's ivory in color. It's got a rubbery knob on there. On the back we've got a single linear potentiometer. It's pre-wired to this terminal block. There's a little green terminal block there. Just throw your wires right in, tighten it down, and there you go, remote controlling your volume. Really simple and easy, and you could whip up these yourself. You know, it's like under 200 bucks, something around 200 bucks. But when you're not doing an installation with a huge budget, this fits the bill because, you know, you can drop 1,200 bucks, 1,500 bucks and up on a nice system processor. But if you got a tight budget, throw one of these in. You got 4 zones. You've got 6 inputs. You know, that's enough to handle a majority of the little places where I'm working. Normally in a restaurant that's doing something major, I'll put in a nice DBX, Zone Pro, you know, remote controllable thing, all kinds of inputs and outputs, volume pots and source input controllers on every wall in every room. You know, but that's one of the clients spending around 7 or 8 grand just for me. But here we go. I'm going to fix up this restaurant for just a couple $100 bucks. I'm going to put this in place, replace a couple speakers, put a new amplifier in, and hopefully they'll be happy. And I know I will be happy when I'm done with that job. So here it is, the Rolls RM64 4-zone mixer. During this first video, I'm going to discuss the items I bring with me on the road as a front of house engineer, but a lot of the same items can be used for multiple disciplines. Now, my daily kit consists of 2 different boxes, one of which is my work box, which comes with me inside the venue every day, and the second is a standard toolbox that stays outside in the van or trailer. This is the box I'm going to discuss first. Okay, like I said, my first box stays in the trailer. It doesn't come inside, and I've labeled this as such. And I'm going to get more into this later, but I want to start out by saying, if you don't label this thing, if you have a random helper loading your stuff in that night, or maybe the venue has provided loaders for you, this will end up inside, and it doesn't need to be inside. It needs to stay in the trailer. Let's take a look inside. And you know what this is used for? Back from my tour managing days, I put all of our band's gas receipts and everything in here. That way when you get home from tour, you know what you spent on gas and food and stuff like that. Here's some more spike tape. This is 2-inch fluorescent. Obviously I've used a similar kind of tape to label this thing. Boom. I've got 2 more rolls of 3-inch gaff. I guess I don't need to buy another roll after all. I've got 2 spares right here. It's never a bad idea to have plenty of gaff tape. Here's a spare flashlight. This is the cheap one. It's about 11 bucks from Walmart, which is good because if you lose it, you can go to a Walmart in just about any town and buy a new one. These markers here, these are paint markers. Once you're kind of set up for tour, you might not need to have these with you, but I tend to just leave a couple handy. These markers you would use to label your tape after you put it on your gear.
Also, you can label like your mic stands and stuff if you bring your own stands. Go ahead and write your name right on the base of it. That way it won't get left at the venue. I always bring some spare mic clips. Obviously, I'm a sound guy, so I need those. Bring a set of these, C47s we call these. Helpful for hanging banners and stuff like that. Ooh, this is a good one. This spare IEC cable. You'll definitely run into situations where you need one of those. And if you know you have one in your box, all you have to do is run out to the trailer to grab it. Here's a big fatty marker, black one. Pair of rubber gloves. Never a bad idea to have some rubber gloves, especially if you have a trailer that needs its axles greased all the time. Got some light sticks here. That's just safety stuff for working on the van or trailer in the middle of the night. Some more spare mic clips. These are for drums. And some spare Sharpies. When I'm on the road, I even label my Sharpies, and I've had some of them with me for like the last 6, 7, maybe 8 years on tours, and they've lasted that long because they've been labeled, and I always get them back at the end of the night if I let somebody borrow one. There's one other feature of this toolbox here. On the top lid, I have some extra stuff too. Got another roll of E-tape, a spare cheap carabiner. Sometimes when I tour, I bring my bike with me, so I've got a set of levers to change the tire, which happens. Oh, I've got some zip ties in here. It's really handy to have zip ties with you on tour. Just Phillips head bit for a driver, some more zip ties. This is a set of drivers for your multi-tool. Some spare screws, a spare preamp tube will come in handy. Some wire nuts and just random hardware. If the casters fall off the bottom of your guitar cabinet, you're going to want to have some nuts and bolts like that lying around. Couldn't hurt. That does it for this toolbox. Now let's take a look at my front of house work box. This is the one that comes inside with me every day, and you can see it's labeled FOH for front of house, and whatever band I'm working for, I'll have that band name on there too, so anybody at the venue knows who it belongs to. Charging cables. For whatever devices you're going to have with you, bring cables for those. You can use them backstage, you can use them in the green room, wherever. Front of house. Like I said, I label all my stuff with my phone number, the name of the band, everything. Even the cables themselves are labeled like that. Some Velcro ties really help out in this situation. Now the band I'm working for currently uses an old school iPad for house music playback. So I make sure to have the 30-pin iPad charging cable with me, a nice long one. All my charging cables are really long. You never know how far away a courtesy outlet will be from where you are. Since I work front of house, I need my headphones, so I bring a set of MDR 7506 by Sony with me. Sometimes if I have a recording device or an old school phone or whatever, I just make sure I have charging cables for all that stuff and enough chargers for all of that stuff too. These are some aux cables I bring with me. I bring two, one as a backup to plug in our house music playback if the venue doesn't provide those. Like I said, I have two. And along with those, I guess I should point out that I have adapters for Lightning and also for USB Type-C. We got some more tape on hand. This is console tape. This is 1-inch console tape. And you would use this for marking the console every night, obviously, but also you can use it for labeling any other sort of stuff that needs like a temporary label. Here's something I picked up when I was on the road with Guar back in the day, and that is just a standard mic splitter. Sometimes this comes in handy, so if you're going to find yourself in a situation where you need one of these, just prepare and just have one with you. Oh, this is very topical in these days, hand sanitizer. I'm a real germaphobe, so when I'm on the road and I have to touch somebody else's console every night, you bet I've got plenty of hand sanitizer, because the last thing you want to do on the road is get sick. And the very last thing you want to do is get anybody else in the van sick. So wash your hands and disinfect them as often as possible. Here's another one, a third hand sanitizer gel. Got a paint marker in here. It's for doing some labeling. Handy stuff that you need, typically a spare 9-volt battery. Here's some parts for headphones. Memory sticks. If you're like me and you've got to load your show onto a new console every night, it's best to have multiple copies of this stuff. I have 3 right here in one chain, but I also have a spare of everything in my backpack, which stays on me at all times. These are, of course, all labeled with the band and my phone number. Can't go anywhere without a multi-screwdriver. This one, of course, is labeled. I have several dollar bills in here. I don't know where these came from, but you never know when you're going to need a dollar or two. Another screwdriver. Couldn't hurt to have that with you. Some AAA batteries. Some random adapters. Earplugs, very critical. Check this out. I don't go anywhere without these, especially on tour. I've got 3 pairs here, foamy ones and 2 silicone ones, and I use these constantly because being an audio professional, I want to preserve my hearing as long as I can. I already came back from a tour a number of years ago with tinnitus, and it has been a long road, and it's been terrible. Got some more zip ties in here, a DI box. If you're on a tour where you don't need one of these, you don't have to bring one. But I use this box for other shows while I'm not on tour, so I have it here with me. Here's an extension cord with a triple tap. Like I said earlier, when you have all your chargers and stuff with you, you're going to want to be able to plug them all in. So bring a long extension cord or a power strip with a long cable on it. I've got some more spike tape with me here. This is 1/2-inch fluorescent. Like I said, if you don't need this with you on a daily basis, you can probably leave it in the trailer. Here's a set of precision screwdrivers, which come in handy if you need to do surgery on a guitar pedal or something small like that. Eyeglasses. I've used this many, many times on tour with me, and it's been on tour with me since about 2012, and it has never left this front of house workbox. Got some guitar picks here. Can't hurt to bring those, especially if you're a musician. I've got another charging cable here. For this one is for an iPhone. Here in these pouches I have a couple microphones on board. Doing front of house, I'll bring one with me on a tour to use as a talkback mic. Like I said, I'm a germaphobe and I don't want to use someone else's talkback mic, so I'll bring my own. And then I'll typically bring a couple spare mics just in case. A 57 and maybe a 58 or an extra vocal mic or something. Check this out, I've got some ibuprofen. Keep this in the front of house box, you never know when you're going to need it. Something's missing from here, and that is some Altoids. It's nice to have something to chew on when you're mixing. Here goes some zip ties, got plenty of those. And here is a paintbrush. The Humble paintbrush comes in really handy when you are running sound, especially if you own your own console and you would use this to dust off the console around all the knobs and stuff. It really comes in handy. It's just a little trick I picked up working AV shows. Oh, here we go. Just in case of emergencies, you've got to have a Band-Aid with you. Pen. Oh, this is really handy. Have some spare Velcro ties. You'll use a lot of those. Paper clip. Oh yeah. Here's my talkback mic. It's got the switch on it. So that takes care of the stuff that you'd be using a lot when you're on the road. Now we're going to talk about a few more advanced things that you might use and you definitely want to be familiar with. An electrical circuit tester. Of course, I have my name and number on there. This is used for checking to see if an outlet is properly wired. Comes in handy if you are a guitarist or a bass player in a band. That is properly wired as indicated by the 2 orange lights. There's another item in here I didn't really consider as something you'd bring on the road. However, a buddy of mine who's a lighting tech out in LA carried one of those in his kit, and he shared it with me, and I thought it was handy to have on your kit. So this would be a sniffer. It's a voltage detector. It will detect AC voltages, but not DC. So you turn it on. You can check easily to see if wires are hot or not. So for instance, if you're a technician and you deal with a lot of power cables and you're trying to troubleshoot a system and figure out what's not working, it's a quick way to identify a hot wire versus a dead wire. This is something that I didn't have in my box, but I do bring on tour with me, and it's a digital multimeter. If you're not familiar with this, maybe it'd be a good time to look it up and learn about it. You can check DC and AC voltage with this. You can look at continuity. You can look at impedance, capacitance, etc. You can even use this as an ampacity meter. This is critical to have. You can do a lot of troubleshooting with this device. Now I'm going to discuss 2 things that I didn't have in my box because they're always on me at all times when I'm on the road. The first of which is going to be my multi-tool. This is a Gerber Scout. It's a real reliable model. I've had several of these over the years. That goes in the pouch, and then there's a secret surprise inside the pouch, which is always handy to have, a spare key to the van. I also have a utility knife on the side of this one. I used to carry a pocket knife on tour until I just about got arrested getting off the subway in Manhattan, and I decided not to carry a knife in my pocket. This way, at least I can take this off and put it in my work box, and then I wouldn't have it on my person. Here's another trick that I learned about. If you tie a carabiner to the belt loop of your multi-tool case, you can clip this on your belt loop. That way, when you take your belt off or loosen your belt, like to go to the bathroom, for instance, your multi-tool doesn't fall on the ground. It'll just hang on your belt loop and you'll be safe and clean. The last item we're going to talk about today, and this is a critical one, is my flashlight and my gloves. I don't like working with my bare hands. Like I said, I'm a germaphobe. I need to wash my hands all the time if I touch stuff, especially cables. The dirt on my hands really drives me crazy, so I put a pair of gloves on whenever I move or touch a piece of equipment or a cable. It only takes a second to put them on, and it can really help and save your hands from getting damaged and cut. So I buy these at Home Depot. They're 10 bucks. My gloves go on this S carabiner with my flashlight. This is that same Walmart flashlight that's about $11. I typically prime them and paint them a fluorescent color, and I wrap some tape around them. And this is a trick that I developed myself. I take a zip tie and I loop it around, tape it on. That gives a loop on which the flashlight can hang, but also you can put this in your mouth and chomp on it while you need your hands to look at something in the dark. The final part of this setup is the Night Eyes S-Beaner. This is really handy to have. The flashlight just clips on there real quick. Your gloves go on there. When it's on your belt loop, to get your gloves off, you just rip the Velcro. To get the flashlight off, just twist it. It goes right on, twists right off. And it's really convenient to have these things that you're going to use 100 times a day right on your side. That goes for all this stuff. You'll use it 100 times a day. I use this thing 100 times a day.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. And just before you go, did you know I have a free book, 7 Habits of Calm and Happy People? I read a lot of books on this and really condensed it into this with some exercises too. I think you're gonna like it if you want more peace and happiness in your life. So you can find it at findcalm.com/book. findcalm.com/book. So